Hello and welcome to the first part in my new series, where I'm gonna take Behringer pedals and I'm gonna try and see if I can circuit bend them and find cool new sounds in them. In the summer, I looked around for cool pedals that I could do something fun with and that I could have made reviews of. But unfortunately, something crazy and weird happened. Someone stole all the enclosures to the new Behringer pedals that I bought in order to show you guys. I was gonna make reviews, but I can't do that now because the enclosures are gone. So the only thing I have left is the actual board. I don't know what happened, but instead of doing review videos, which isn't really my thing anyway, I was thinking that instead I would do something that I've done before, which is rehouse pedals. I've rehoused Behringer pedals before. Some of you might have seen those videos. They're some of my most popular videos to hate, and so it's always fun to revisit something like that. But instead, in this series of videos, I have 4 Behringer pedals, and I don't know how many videos we're going to do on each pedal. It depends on you and how much you want to see and how much you're interacting with these videos, how much experiments you guys are doing with me, and what kind of mods and circuit bending things we are all finding. In today's video, we're going to look at this pedal that I have right here, which is the Behringer Overdrive Distortion, or OD300, which is a great pedal, but it doesn't have a box anymore. I'm gonna experiment right now, just take a look inside, see what happens when I mess with the circuit and see if I find something cool. If I don't find anything cool, we'll come back to it later and see what you guys have to say. And yeah, we're gonna do that. And once we've found a bunch of weird, crazy things, we'll put this into a new box and we'll just make this into something crazy and weird. We might add, 5 switches and 100 buttons and I don't know, another output jack maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's a fun way to continue the rehousing of Behringer pedal thing that I've done before, and it's also a fun way to get back into circuit bending, which is something that I've done a little bit on the channel, but I haven't really talked that much about it, and I haven't done it in the way that I'm going to do it now, which is that I'm going to just mess around with cables and show you how circuit bending works. I feel like circuit bending is a really big part of DIYing when it comes to music and pedals and things like that we are doing on this channel and that other channels are doing as well, but that circuit bending is still something that there isn't that many videos out there on. So I hope to be able to fill the void a little bit. So what do you need? Well, first of all, you obviously need something to circuit bend. So you need some sort of circuit, and since we're working with music and audio and things like that, you will need something like a pedal. Something like that. Anything that makes sounds, basically. You can have some toys, for example. That can be a lot of fun. You're gonna need batteries, 9-volt batteries, and you might also need clippers like these. The Behringer pedals have the capability of having a battery, so you already have the battery clipper on there. But there are special cables that I thought I got one out here to show you, but there's cables that have a jack, so you can plug it in if your pedal doesn't take batteries, so that you can have a battery. The reason we want to work with batteries is because it's 9-volt, it's DC, and if we do something crazy where maybe the pedal glitches out and we think that we've, killed it, then in most cases we will be able to sort that out by just unplugging the battery and getting all the electricity out of it. That's not 100% true, because you can obviously fry something anyway, but most of the time that will save the pedal. You're gonna need solder, and you're gonna need a soldering iron, maybe some flux, and obviously we need a way of cleaning our tip to keep our soldering iron working. We're gonna need a guitar, and I'm also gonna add this pedal that I got just for these videos, which is a looper pedal. It doesn't matter what pedal you have, but having a looper pedal means that we can create a little ditty, like a... That was terrible. And then we can just play that over and over and mess around with the circuit at the same time, which allows us to notice differences in the pedal at the same time. So it's a practical thing to have. You need some sort of alligator clipper thing like this to poke around with, and some cables to connect so we can solder. Other than that, some potentiometers and some different kinds of switches and some different kinds of buttons that you can add. When you notice that between two parts this cable will do something, you don't want to just solder that cable in place, because if you do that, then the pedal will just have whatever that thing that is happening going on constantly. So you want to then split that cable in half and solder something like a button or a pot or something like that in between. But hopefully I do find some sounds, and you'll be able to join me on that, and then you'll see it happen. So first off, we need to start, yeah, I'm gonna do this the first time we make these videos, but then I'm probably not gonna go through all of this in the next videos, because I don't think you need to. I mean, it's kind of obvious, I think, but I don't want to do things the obvious way, obviously, because obviously. No, but I mean, to some people it's obvious and to some people it's not, and I want this to be an entry-level thing where if you've never done anything like this before, you can still join. So bear with me if some of this sounds a bit over-explained or something. Here I have my loop pedal. I'm not endorsing this particular pedal, just the one I have at the moment. I do think this is an awesome pedal, but that's my own, personal, it doesn't matter. I'm already starting to ramble. I'm going to plug my guitar into this one, and then I'm going to take a shorter cable as an extension. I'm also going to plug power into this. Then secondly, here we have our circuit taken out of the pedal. It's usually just a couple of screws or something that you have to take off. We'll see how much in depth we actually go as we get along on this weird, crazy ride, but I'm going to put the knobs on. You don't have to press them down super well, just enough so that you can turn the pots, because we might want to experiment with turning the pots a little bit. And then this obviously needs to go in here. And then here's the thing, we need a battery. We'll plug that in as well, and try to keep track of your batteries so that you have something that you know is somewhat around 9, because that's what it's supposed to be. Some pedals will react to the battery dying, so if you have a dying battery and you're doing these mods, you might be finding things that you are not actually finding, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And then to the amp, something like that. Now let's make sure everything works. I have the amp on, and my signal works. The pedal seems to work, and maybe we'll put all of these at noon or something like that, unless that makes it too loud. Keep your amp as low as you can. You still want to be able to hear things, but we might find some things that work and make this really cool sounds, but we might also find things that, sounds like a horrible explosion in your ear or something, and you don't want to destroy your hearing. Be safe is what I'm trying to say. So I feel like this is an okay level to start at. Everything is at noon, which is maybe higher on some of these settings than I would actually go. I have ear protection on the side here, which I should tell you right here. If I feel like maybe I'm finding too many things that are odd and weird, I might actually put those on. Okay, so I have my looper pedal here. I'm going to create a very simple little loop. I'm probably not even going to be able to actually make it loop properly, because you're supposed to press it with your foot, but it doesn't matter for what we're doing. This is not a competition in like loop art or something like that. It's just getting some chords down. So I'm just going to do something like... Try to play a little bit of everything, like on something like this, I don't think we're going to need picking, but try to play maybe something like, fast picking, strumming, and also some loose, like, so that you can hear how it will affect both, like, sort of how it will hold up whatever you're doing, but also that you can hear the trail of the chord. You can hear that it has a sort of wow 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 to it. Wow 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 wow. I don't know if you can hear that, but anyway, that's a thing that I think is important to remember to do. I'm gonna just and then now we can move these pots and see that things are changing the loop. Okay, so now basically all we need to do is turn this around. Here we have the circuit on the back of the circuit anyway. And now we can take something like this and we can start poking around. there we have something changing the sound. So we might want to plug it out. Because it changed the sound, but it didn't come back once I removed them. Okay, we might have... There we have a volume thing happening. So when I connect those two, you can hear that there's something changing. There we have something. I mean, someone might want this. That's kind of cool. I might want to put a momentary switch there, so... I think that's kind of cool. Wait, I've already forgotten. It's this one, right? Which is the... C20 something? C23. C23. Actually, maybe I'll just add a wire there immediately. Yeah, so for example, this could be fun. So I'm gonna cut a piece of wire. I mean, I'm gonna cut two pieces of wire, and then I'm gonna strip them back, and I'm gonna see if I can pre-tin them. So I have my two wires here. Now I'm just gonna try that again, just so that I know exactly. I think it was there and there. Yeah. So a little tin on my tip, then just put this on there. It's C. I think it says C23, something like that. It's on there, and then a little bit new solder on my tip. We add that wire there, and then just give me a sec. I think I have a switch here, or it's more like a button. Okay, I didn't have the buttons that I was hoping for, but I have these instead. So let's try these out and see what happens. A big part of circuit bending is trying things out and just seeing what happens. So, yeah, let's do that. I have this little arcade button. So yeah, let's cut these wires back and then pre-tin them. And we might have to remove this, but we'll keep the wires in place, because I think a momentary switch would be the best thing. Now it's like a fuzz pedal. Yeah, now it's like a momentary switch. Yeah, so there we have our first circuit bend. I thought it would take longer to find it, but it's kind of cool. And when we finalize this later in another video, we'll see if like maybe pressing down two buttons at the same time will work, and then we'll switch it out for a button that can let us do both. And this is kind of cool. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna change, because I want to show you, and I think this is a perfect place. If you want to, you can just have this, you know, and then this is a momentary switch, so you can be like, whenever you press it down, you get the effect of the circuit being circuit bent. And then when you let go, it goes back to being stock. But we can also add a switch. Now these switches that I have here, they exist in momentary as well, actually, and I can show you one at another point. But basically it will just be flicked back to the middle all the time. But if we take one of these, and I'm gonna pre-tin it real quick. We take two of the legs, the middle leg and one of the outers. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, it doesn't matter which one. And we connect to this one instead. I'm just gonna remove this switch here real quickly. So we solder this one to the outer here, and we solder this one if we can. This is a little fiddly. So now we have a completely different interaction, because now we can have this mounted on the top of the pedal once it's in an enclosure, and we can flick this. And nothing happens. Okay, let's see what happens if we remove this. When it's flicked this way, it should be those two that are connected. I've never had this happen before, but this switch is actually broken. So I'm gonna cut this leg off so that I don't accidentally use that. And I'm gonna try to use the other one, because I get continuity through that one, but I don't get it through that leg. So I don't know. Obviously, once I'm filming, that's when it happens. I mean, I've seen broken switches before, but I don't think I've ever had a switch be broken straight out of the box. You know, like it's a new switch. I just took it out of its package. Okay, let's see what happens. Now it works. So now we've sort of changed the way it reacts. So before we had a momentary switch where the effect is only on when we press it. And for some things that's gonna be cool and exactly what we want. But for this, maybe that's not what we want. Maybe for this we just want a switch on the top, and when we flick it, it sort of becomes a fuzz pedal. We can always change these out, as long as we haven't drilled any holes in any enclosure, you know, whatever. And also, again, we might find another place where we want this switch on and that other switch on at the same time. And then we can either decide if we want two switches or if we would just want one switch. But that's our first mod. So let's continue. I feel like past this is all... I'm out of frame. I feel like all of this, whenever I touch it, even with just my finger, I just turn off the pedal. It's just the bypass. So I think going past here there's no point. Unless we can do something weird with the bypass, of course, where we have both the bypass and the signal on at the same time. Okay, so I think I've found another one. I'm gonna show you in a sec, but I'm just gonna add some wires. I think it was this one here, right? Okay, if I remember correctly, it's this one here. And this one here. I'm gonna see if I can add another wire there. Something like that. And that's R31 from this board here. It's the legs of the pots right there. So if these two touch, we get a sound. So if we press this one, they seem to maybe they need to be their own two switches. So now we're back to stock, and we can press this. And we can press this. I don't think they work that well together. Actually, they kind of do. Anyway, yeah, okay. We have two mods. There's a bunch of wires in all directions. I'm gonna continue looking around a little bit. It's a little bit too hard to find these mods quick. I mean, these circuit bends. I probably shouldn't call them mods, because circuit bends imply more uselessness. I think I might have found another one that I might think is cool. I think it was it here and here? There it is. Okay, or at least I think that's what it was. So let's add a wire here. Let's add a wire here. And I'm gonna tell you in a second. Okay, so that is C27 and that is R30. And I think they were cool. Hey, so I'm back. And now we have 3 mods. We have the C23 to the second to last leg on this pot right here. And then we have the third leg on the pot, because the first one is the ground connection right there. And it's connected to R31 through this little switch here. And then we have this new one that I just found, which is C27, I think it says, connected through this switch here to the back side, which just broke off, of R30. Something like that. I hope it will stay. This is really fiddly thing, so we might have to redo it. But anyway, let's listen to the first mod real quick. And then the second. Which is probably my favorite, and then the last one. Which, for some reason now, doesn't work. Oh, there. It's not as much, but it adds a sort of fizzly overtone thing that I kind of like. So here's without the mod. And now with the mod. There we go. I think that's enough for today. Well, there you have it. You can see all the crazy wires sticking out. I hope you learned something or got inspired, and I hope that at least one of you guys will join me in this. If you don't have this pedal, I have 3 other ones coming. And I just want to say that, you might find something cooler, then let me know, obviously. You might find these and you might not like them. This is supposed to be weird, crazy and noisy and having fun. So I'm not saying that any of the mods that I'm finding here, or mods is probably being nice. It's circuit bending is more about making things that maybe don't sound good. Mods are usually useful things. You're gonna have to excuse me. I'm gonna switch in between them without noticing. I hope you liked it. I hope you will join in. The point of this is that we're circuit bending these together, and we might find something cool, and maybe you'll find something that you want to turn into an actual pedal, work on even more and not just circuit bend, but actually create like a new circuit and create something cool. Then do that. This is how a lot of people find out how to make pedals. Seriously, a lot of pedals that you guys love and that you think are super cool, they started out as someone just trying to circuit bend something and finding new sounds and making something cool. So I really hope you will join. Talk to me in the comments below and all of that. And if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Like the video if you like it as well. You don't have to be new to like the video. I hope you know that. We have 3 little switches on this right now, but hopefully by the end we'll have so many switches that we don't even know. I want this to be a crazy thing. I want it to turn out, that when we do go to put this in a box, we have so much weird things going on. I wasn't planning on adding anything, but if you think I should, then let me know that as well, because now we're just doing switches and cables, but at some point we could add some resistors or some capacitors, or maybe add a different circuit as well. That's the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool, and go and get yourself one of these pedals. Get a second-hand one. Maybe one doesn't look that good, and just let's see if we can destroy this together. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go. You're gonna go. I'll see you in the next video. Okay? Good. Bye-bye for now.